Hello, everybody. I'm so excited because I am here with Lavinia, who she's going to give a little of her backstory, but we are going to be sharing audiences. So I figured I would give a little bit on who I am and why I wanted to have this conversation, and then you could do the same, and then we could free flow. Lavinia, if you don't know this, my audience is kind of like 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 90 something percent female. So it's like we can talk. Okay. We could like for real talk. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Ashley Black, and I feel like it's been a super long journey to get to this place of what we're going to talk about today, which is a lot about this spiritual tissue, the fascia, and what it really is and how it can really impact your life, raise your consciousness, and it's just something that we need to put into the ecosphere. And the reason I care about fascia was because I had a near-death experience when I was 28 years old. I died on an operating table from a stroke, went up to heaven, flew through the sky, the tunnel and everything, and was told that I needed to come back because I had something important to do and that I would be given the knowledge when the time was right. And so I know you're familiar with downloads, and I've had several different periods in my life, many years apart, where I've been downloaded with knowledge. And I do think it makes you tap into your intuition more, and you really seek that intuition. And when things start to have synchronicities, so it's funny because we both built really amazing careers, but not by being girl bosses, by following that special divine feminine. So I am here a little bit to talk about the fascia, but a little bit to that journey, because I think that'll be very inspirational for our viewers. So I'll let you give your backstory and then we can jump in.
So first of all, I'm so happy to be here with you and inspired by your story and by what you do. So my background has been in fitness. I'm the co-founder of Equinox Fitness Clubs. And, even when and I did Equinox with my two brothers, and even right from the beginning, probably because I came from a cosmetic background, I had worked for Lancome for years as an executive, and I had a mentor there who said, Lavinia, if you always ask two questions, what do women want and what do women need? And really understand, what do they really need? Like, if they're using this cream, why are they really using this cream? Not just like, oh, they're putting cream on their face because they want it moisturized. Like, there's always a deeper level. And I guess, I'm just a person that likes things by nature a little deeper. Like, I don't swim in shallow water too long. Like, I like to go a little bit deep. And I'm really always curious about the body, the mind, the spirit, the soul. Like, how does it all connect together? Like, that is definitely something that I'm just always so passionate about. And also about, for me, the physical body. When we move our body, we move our energy.
That's right.
So for me, movement, that's why from the very first time, I think it was on FaceTime when I saw what you were doing, it was like, she's moving the body,
moving the
energy. And that's what's so important. We have to move the energy. So now I'm creating my next big brand called Joy Lift, which is all about moving, but I say it's not fitness, it's freedom. Because energy is emotions. Every single emotion that we have actually has an energy to it.
That's right. It's emotion is energy in motion.
Exactly.
Right.
So 83% of our emotions in a day for women are negative, because they're fear and worry and shame and all the not enoughs. So all that energy. And the other thing about women is we don't just hold our own energy. We hold our family's energy. We worry about when our husband's struggling, we have their energy. When our kids are struggling, we have their energy. When our aging parents are struggling, we have their energy.
Even our pets.
When our
our friends.
Right. We are just
society at large.
We are just the containers of that, right? Yep. Like, that's who we are. So more so than anything, we have to learn how to release that energy. We have to learn how to release that stress, that chronic stress, because also 75% of all autoimmune disease is women.
Isn't 75%.
That insane? And science shows that the correlation of that is chronic stress.
100%.
So that's why I love what you're doing, because it is about a deeper level of self-care, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not just, going and getting a mani and pedi. A mani and pedi is great. A massage is great, but this is like deeper. This is the kind of work, like we have to do the work, and the inside work, the outside work.
I love that, because I feel like when we were kind of chatting about what we want to talk about, and I do feel like it is the most important thing for women right now is if we could actually redefine what self-care is, right? And I know for me, it kind of started with nutrition. I come from, just like you, the bodybuilding days where, like, if I was having, chicken brown rice and broccoli, boy, I was on my healthy plan, right? That's what we ate. And double chicken breast. It didn't matter where the chicken breast came from.
And it was no oil.
Right.
In those days, we were like petrified of oil.
Of any fat.
Yeah, any fat. It was just like you were eating like lettuce and you were taking lemon.
Yep.
And maybe a little Dijon
Yep.
mustard.
No,
God forbid you had
no
any
salad
oil.
dressing.
No salad.
And now for me, nutrition is like, did it come from my greenhouse organic, and when did I cut it? Like, that's how deep, I've gone into, like, how do we actually fuel our bodies, not to be skinny or to build muscle, but like, how do we actually fuel the cells of our body? And I feel like kind of that same path that I took to understand nutrition in a completely different way, caring for the rest of my body, everything from my skin to my hair to, my soul, my emotions, my just like you were saying, like your thoughts. Like, it doesn't even have to be the emotion to it. Like, how do we put a leash on those thoughts? And how does that create somebody that is really, really high vibrational? And I feel like I am totally stepped into my wise woman witchy era. And I'm like, watch out, world. So I'm sure your experience is similar.
I mean, I always say that for me, when a woman is confident, but like really confident in her skin, confident in her soul, there's something, like, for me, that is like the epitome of wellness, like, because you're walking in it, you own it. You're like, you're being assertive. You're speaking your truth kindly. You're not keeping all this in. You're not walking on eggshells. You're not worried about your truth and how that other person responds to it.
That's right.
It's like, it's not your business how they respond to it.
That's right.
As long as you say it lovingly and kindly, that's on them.
That's right.
And when we're younger, those are the kind of things we lament over. Those are the kind of things we worry about so much.
How do I say this to that person? I don't want to say it because I don't want to this, that, or the other.
Exactly. And they hold in like unsuppressed feelings. It's like, I care more about your feelings than I care about my own feelings. Like, that lives in our body. That's why women are getting ill. That's why autoimmune,
100%.
because we are just holding all of that in. It's like, oh, I don't want to say anything. I don't want to rock the boat. I don't want to, it's like, rock the boat, ladies. Like, get it out of your body and speak your truth, but just do it lovingly and kindly, I also watch women and they become so obsessed about what they put in their mouth. And that's great, because I'm pretty obsessed. I listen to what comes out of their mouth and I'm thinking, ooh, that's a lot of toxins coming out of your mouth, girl.
Right.
Speaking negative, gossiping, not being conscious and awakened to other people's feelings. Like, there's an issue in that place.
100%. I mean, I just look at it like high vibrational is high vibrational. And if we want to be high vibrational, which by the way would be healthy, our cells are not going to die in a high vibrational situation, right? But then you go, well, what are all the things? Right? What are the things that make us high vibrational? Food is one of them, but it is literally every thought, the quality of the air, whether you're putting some type of toxic body product on, are you overindulging in, someone else's life and, what they have going on? There's just so many things. And even like, I've gotten to the point where I don't watch violence. I don't have any thing or anyone around me that's low vibrational. We were just kind of talking about this. Like, it's actually difficult for me to get on a plane. I have to do like an energy, protection. Or when I go into cities or situations, and you can recognize it when you are a fully high vibrational person. You hear that gossip, or you hear, someone basically politics or whatever it is, and you just go, ugh, like that is not in alignment with what my soul, my body, my mind, my heart, it is just out of coherence completely.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, for me, I just every day I do a movement. I do this movement that I do, which starts with we incorporate breath work. So I love breath work, and I started doing breath work about 10 years ago, maybe actually before that, because I did Kundalini for many years. And then what I would notice is I would do that breath work when I would go to a workshop or go to a class, but I wouldn't do it every day. And I'm like, but then it got to the point where it's like, well, there's not enough time to work out, to get in your breath work, to do your journaling, to do your meditation,
right.
to do your visualization.
Sometimes that can become toxic, right?
Yeah, I mean, so for me, I thought like I started putting it all together in one, and I noticed and really do, the spine is so important.
Yeah.
Every organ in your body is connected to your spine. So we have to be really mindful of using our spine in all 6 directions and putting it into a wave. Because when you do that, I've recently had an x-ray of my spine. And afterwards, the doctor said, go back, and he goes, there's no way that that's her spine. He goes,
because you're too old to have a.
He
what?
said, by the way, I'm 65 years old, and he said that is the spine of a 25-year-old. He said that cannot be that woman's spine, and I thought, wow, that's amazing, right? That's the thing, is that I move my spine for health.
Yes.
And a healthy spine is a healthy body, and it's healthy organs. So we have to really, really be careful.
And also
really
from the
mindful.
energy standpoint, you were talking about the Kundalini. So just in case we have people out there that don't, I would love for you to define, number one, embodiment practices. Because I feel like in Costa Rica, everybody's like, I'm so embodied, I'm the vessel, I'm the this, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think that normal people know about that. So I want you to define embodiment. And then when we talk about Kundalini, break it down to just at like a super kindergarten level, like what is happening in the spine besides it being bones and disc and nerves.
Right. First of all, so for me, embodiment is about your thoughts, your words, you're spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, energetically. That's where the alignment is. So I always say that in order to be healthy, you have to be spiritually healthy, mentally healthy, emotionally healthy, energetically healthy, and physically healthy. So there is an awareness, there is a practice. So you have a practice in all of those things, and that becomes the embodiment. So you walk your walk.
Yeah.
You speak your walk. Like, there is no incongruency. Now look.
And you are it.
You are it. The beingness, not the doingness, the beingness you embodies all of that. Now, we're human, and we have moments where we have human experiences, and
where we say, can I just say something really bitchy one time and then I'll stop?
Or you say it and then you catch yourself and you're like, and I do this, I go, cancel. I literally say,
backspace delete.
Just cancel that. Like, because energetically, I don't want to live in that space, and nor do I want to start continuing it. If I say something a little gossipy and I catch myself and I go, stop, because I don't want the other person now to go it, and before you know it, you're done.
Right, and I don't even want to hear it.
So I'm like, I'm done. I said it. I'm sorry. I said it, God. Please let me move on. So it's that kind of stuff is when you're really catching yourself and you're going like, hey, I want better than this for me. I want higher vibration than this for me. Because at the end of the day, we know our vibration is what we attract.
That's right.
If you're in a low vibration and you're in, victimville, and you're always complaining and you're always, seeing the grass greener on the other side, and you're not in gratitude, like
you're getting more of that. You're going to get more
You're going to get exactly that. You're going to meet that. You're going to walk out of your house and you're going to find a flat tire. You're going to drive your car and you're going to get hit. Like, that's the energy. So it really, like, you want to protect yourself from that, so that you're really in a place of a higher vibration than that. And it means like doing good for yourself and doing good for others. It doesn't have to be woo-woo. I mean, I happen to like woo-woo stuff. Like, I enjoy it, but there's times where at the end of the day, like, I'm an Italian girl from Hackensack, New Jersey. Like, I also am very grounded. I am like, there's a groundedness.
Sometimes you just need to
me.
make a meatball for your family. And
Exactly. Oh, I love meatballs. Are you kidding? I make them healthy, but I love a good meatball. You know, yeah, and it's in that, and to find the joy. Like, for me, joy is my big word. It's what I love. It's because joy is something a little different than happiness. Like,
yep.
Happiness is something that, like, somebody could bring you something. You're like, oh my God, this makes me so happy. But joy is something that you've earned it. Like, you've kind of like...
That's right. It's like you've curated your life for joyous experiences.
And you went through a lot of shit. Like, usually you've gone through a lot of heartache and a lot of challenges. And then when you overcome that and you've earned it, it's like, whew, like you understand that level of joy. It isn't like somebody hasn't given it to you. It's inside of you. Like, even now I say, like, even if, and not that I wish for this, but if I lost everything, I know I could find my way back. Like, I have
100%.
that in me. I have that resilience in me. And that's what I really love to teach women, like how to have that level of confidence. Because it really comes down when you see a confident woman that's not arrogant, you know, but confident, that really is walking in it, is in it, embodies that level of confidence inside of her. That is like a turn on. It's very sexy. It's really sexy. And, you know, that's why for me with movement, I always say you can't have that if you have to move your body. You know, the energy gets stuck. So it's about moving right. And like you said before, it's not moving to be a size 4 or a size 6. It's like moving to feel good.
Yes.
You know, moving to like...
Or to literally move the energy. I know sometimes like I'll just get up and I'll be like, I just need to get, like, I'm in some funky, I don't know what's going on. And I will turn on my Cardi B and I will work it out. You know,
I love that.
You know, you got to shake the root chakra from time to time. What do you say to people? Because, you know, I get this a lot. People are like, how are you like always happy? You know, and then I do think people are like, oh, it's because she has money. And it's like, okay, that could not be further from the truth. I do feel like I am genuinely happy and I have joyful moments, and I don't have a lot of, like, I can't relate even at all anymore to like having a depressed era or anything like that. But I really do believe that is because I am embodied in all the things that I've teach and that I've learned and that I'm still learning. Like we were just talking about taking a course. I'm about to take a course from my friend Lauren called The Vessel. I don't want to become an embodiment coach, but I want that information, you know, for myself. And, you know, when I think about the things that I do to continually grow and to continually, you know, stay in these joyous moments, it is so curated. It literally is like we have a Monday night circle. Do I usually feel like going after a long Monday of, you know, ads, calls, and all the stuff no. But you know what I do? I get in the car and I go. And once I'm with my girls, it doesn't matter. We could be doing yoni massage, drumming and singing, or, you know, somebody giving an amazing workshop, but it doesn't matter. I know that is something that I need. It keeps advancing me. It's like surfing. You know, most of the time when I'm driving to the surf break, I'm in a bad mood and I'm looking for like any reason not to do it. Like in my head, I'm like, okay, are the waves going to be good today? And no. But I get there and I know that embodiment practice is going to, like, nothing matters after I've surfed. So I think what we have to do to really stay in the joy is do the things even when we don't feel like doing the things. You know, there's a lot of talk about that with the gym, and that is one way, but I think we need to do that in all aspects of our lives.
Yeah. Discipline is a big part of success, you know, and what I like to do is I like to find like where I can be devotional in it. Like there's like, so instead of discipline, like sometimes that word discipline just makes me go, ugh. Where it's like when I'm being devotional in my movement practice, where I'm being devotional in like I also devotion and rituals. Like my whole day is a day of rituals.
Me too, girl. That's a
and
huge point.
yeah. So from the minute I wake up to I start my gratitude list, for many years I would write it out. You know, let's say the last 10 years I just could say it. And I start the energy with that because I know it sounds hokey and some people are like, gratitude. But the truth of it is, gratitude's a very high vibration.
100%
So
high vibration.
as soon as I get out of bed, I feel like I'm already in the bubble of a higher vibration.
Yeah.
You know, and then right from drinking my first morning drink, it's like I'm doing a ritual of let me do this morning cleansing.
Right.
You know, getting my digestion. I've had rest all night. Now I want to get everything moving. So a nice hot cup of hot water with a little bit of lemon in it. It's like I see it just making everything move really smoothly, you know, and then I brush before I get in the shower. And my brushing is like moving my circulatory system. And by the way, when I brush, I start doing breath work. Yeah. So I breathe and and I just do 4 counts in, 4 counts out. So I'm literally making it a ritual, and then I take a cold shower in the morning.
And it doesn't feel like a checklist.
No.
It's like the thing you look forward to. I have a gratitude practice too, and it's funny because I don't really think about it, but every morning, as long as it's sunny, I go and I walk to the end of my pool where I can see the ocean. And anytime I see the ocean, I'm just like, there you are, baby. Even driving here, I'm in Malibu today. I was just like, hey, baby. Like, I just love the ocean like that. And then I, just like you, I have my morning drink and I just sit there and I just appreciate that I'm alive. And I'll stand up and out loud, because I live on 100 acres by myself, so I can do weird stuff and nobody sees me, but I just take a breath in and I'll be like, dear God and all the whole universe, thank you for this, thank you for that, thank you. And it's amazing once you start saying it out loud, it's like you realize like how special you are, that you are one little piece of this amazing quantum thing. And we're insignificant, but we're so significant at the same time, you know?
You know, I always say it's where, like if you have a flashlight, where are you putting on that flashlight? Are you flashing? Are you showing the light on all the good in your life? Because there's always good. I mean, even if it's that we just have this great meal and we have a roof over our head. Some days it's like, oh, thank you for these sheets. You know, because, you know,
I'm grateful for sheets, good sheets.
Like, you know, like not every day, you know, because like, let's face it. I mean, I was here and we dealt with the fires and we dealt with the floods and then we dealt with the, you know, the mudslides, and so many friends lost everything. I mean, there's times when it's like, and then you're just getting everything back up, and now we're getting ready for fire season again. Yeah. So we have to deal with that, and we try to stay positive and, you know, see everything just, but you know, it's still real. Like life is real, and there's real problems sometimes, and there's real issues, but it's like, and I have to deal with them, and I'm dealing with them, and then I'm flashing the light on all the good. That's so I'm going to deal with it, and I try to deal with it in a solution way. I'm about like, how do I create the solution instead of like getting into the victim energy? Because when we're just getting into that victim energy, that just takes you down a really slippery slope. So it's like we all have to deal with some stuff that are uncomfortable, and it's I hate saying like getting comfortable, the uncomfortable, because it's so cliche, but it's like finding the okayness in the uncomfortableness, to be like, all right, I don't have a choice. This is part of life. I have to do
But you know, I always feel like when I'm being squeezed, like, you know, cattle through the cattle chute, before I even experience the uncomfortable, I'm like, here we go again. All right, God, you're teaching me something. And I'll say it out loud. I'll be like, show me what it is that you're teaching me. Like, I'm clearly not listening, or you wouldn't give me the uncomfortable. Yeah. And it's almost like the uncomfortable then becomes kind of like you're happy about it, because you know that it's the squeeze to take you to the next level. And it's like it always happens that way. You know, even when I am mentoring other women and we're talking about it, it's like, didn't it make sense after? You know, so you just have to get to that place where space time is not so important, and it's like you're already living in that, you know, place of heightened growth, you know?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Or
Like,
the
for me-
unknown. People freak out of the unknown,
Oh,
the
yeah.
uncomfortable and the unknown. And that's where, like Joe Dispenza says, that's where the magic is.
And for me, that's where God is. You know,
Amen.
I definitely know that my faith is what definitely keeps me so grounded and
Yeah.
keeps me to be able to find the joy. And even when you know, I don't believe we get closer to our God identity in when things are going well. We go through our God identity when like the shit hit the fan. When the shit hit the fan, that's when you have to, like you say, like you have to pray more. You
Yep.
have to talk to God more. You have to listen to God more. Like
Yeah.
you have to try things. Okay. You have to be.
That's no good. We have so many comments, so many waves.
Love that.
So no, that's so true. And it is such it's such a deep thing. But I do feel like, you know, even we were just kind of chatting about it, but like even being like recently single or something like that, you know, it's all of those things could take us into, you know, this victim mentality or like, you know, the thought what it could have been or, you know, the grieving that when in reality, we already know. I can flash forward. Like, who is the next lucky man? Like, you are so lucky to get me and our life is going to be so amazing. Like, I already know that. So it makes, you know, the dating and the single, you know, process so much better. But I really do believe that I think it's the way that I've lived my life. I think it's the way that I constantly want to grow and I'm constantly focusing on being higher vibrational. It's 100% the reason I've had financial success. And I know you would agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it needs to come from that divine feminine place of authenticity and the willingness to be uncomfortable and keep taking that next step, you know, and the embodiment stuff is like what you're doing. I do want to talk about that before my battery dies. You know, the program that you've invented, and fascia blasting as well, you know, that is what it's about. It's like in the physical form, like the energetic form
Mm-hmm.
and also the actual mass, right, in our bodies. When we can get that out of there, it releases that stored trauma. It releases those subconscious limiting beliefs, and it opens a gateway for us to live this life. I always say there is a life out there, and I'll say it like right to the camera. There is a life out there where every single day is a wow. And you live your life at this exponentially amazing, like, you know, just sitting here at your home, I'm just like, this place is incredible. And like driving over here, like you live in this state of wow. And it is something that you can choose.
Yes, you definitely. Same thing with joy. Like you can choose it. You can either choose, like, I remember hearing many, many years ago, it's like when you're playing tennis and if the ball gets hit and you say to yourself, I got this, I can hit this ball, you have like a 70% chance of hitting it. But if you say, oh, I can't get that, it's too far, like you have a 92% chance that you're not going to get it. Like you have to decide, are you are you the person that's like, I got this? And you may not get every ball.
That's right.
But you're going to get more. And also there's a thing that sends it to the brain. Like the brain starts working in a way where it's like expects good things to happen. Like when you expect good things to happen, and again, it's not like, it's like what's supposed to happen is designed that way.
That's right.
And it's designed for, if you believe it's designed for your highest good. Like I believe every challenge, every situation, even though sometimes it doesn't feel good, I just know this is for my highest good. Like this is for me to grow. This is for me to get to the next level. This is for me to be able to impact more people because I don't have the skill set right now to do it. Right. Exactly where I am. So this is for me to stretch, to grow, to lean in, to learn more. You know, like it's that. And when you start really believing that, really, really, really believing that, I met a stranger yesterday at the airport in Boston, and we just started talking out of nowhere. And she was telling me she was coming to LA and she was doing Lewis Howe's workshop this weekend in Hollywood. And I'm like, oh my God, that's amazing. And one thing leads to another. And then she's telling me she's getting a divorce. And I'm like, congratulations. And, and before we know it, it's like, she's like, yeah, I'm going to Uber. And I was like, really, you might want to think about getting a car because, and she's like, yeah, but I want to drink and I might want to go for, and I said, right. And then afterwards I was just like, you might want to get a car. And besides, you don't really need the alcohol because I'm like, why would you want to do a weekend like that? Like
Right.
where you're
and
about
then douse it with alcohol.
and douse it with alcohol. Like you want to be so present. You want to be feeling so good. Like go and do your walk on Santa Monica. Like you live in a place where there's no ocean or whatever. Like anyway, but it's like when, and she wrote me back and she said, I think you're an angel because we exchanged. And now she wrote me today and said, hey, I think I want to go to church with you on Sunday. And it's like, it's that openness of that journey, like being open. And I know like some people would say, you met a stranger? She's going to come to your house on Sunday and you're going to take her to church. I'm like, yeah. But it's when you're in your flow.
That's
when
right.
you are in your flow, it's like, that's how life
and
shows
you probably
up.
were the angel. We all get picked at certain times. Like sometimes somebody is a vessel for a message for me. It happens. I love when I get on a plane. I mean, I'm like ready to meet my soulmate or my next business partner. And that has actually happened.
I'm sure.
And I do think it's because you're available for it. You create space for it, and you were talking a little bit about how, in the brain, the only way to keep growing is to keep learning and keep trying new things. So what I would say to our ladies out over and over, you just can't. You got to stop. That's one super tangible thing that you can immediately. I know for me, I don't consider myself musical, but I want to sing. It's great for the vagus nerve, and so I started doing basic things like drumming and chanting and things like that. And it's something new. Go cook something new. Go to a different store to get your food that you're going to cook. Go dancing. Go drive down a street you've never driven down. These are the things that really have to be intentional until it becomes a flow. But that is the flow. Like if you're saying, I'm going here, I'm doing this, this is my plan, I'm married, we're going to do this, that, the other, you're done. That is your life.
Yeah, you're kind of cooked. I always say that people say to me, like, what is your anti-aging secrets? And I really hate the word anti-aging. I always say I'm youthing. And I got that.
I'm youthing too. I like that.
Yeah, I got that from a dear spiritual teacher, Chris Ty. And it's interesting when you hear a man say it, he's like, yeah, you're youthing. And I'm like, yeah, I am youthing. And one of the ways that I youth is that I stay curious and I remain a student. Like I remain a student of life. And that's what I think we have to do. Like that's what we're talking about here. We're learning new things. We're trying new things. We're going to new places. We're open. There's an openness. And in that openness to connect, to see, to experience, to taste new things, to feel new things. Like that's where, because like babies, every day they're learning something new.
Right.
But so often as we get older, we don't do that.
Right.
We're not doing that. The brain isn't having to do that. Like before you know it, like we go to the same place, we shop at the same stores, we talk to the same people, we eat the same foods. Like that is not youthing. That is probably the journey to death.
It's really true. And I do believe, when people will see me and they'll be like, oh my God, you do not look 53 at all. And I'm just like, it's so weird because like, for sure, I could give you I do stem cells. I take my NADs and, do my, proteins and, I could give you that. But that is not why I look the same as I did 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
It is because that my entire life is high vibrational by choice. And the curiosity and the learning and the deciding. I think one of the most amazing things you said was deciding to make your entire day a ritual, that it's such a game changer. It just happened to me. I am going literally tonight on a plane to China. Okay. So by no standards are most people yay about that. And I'm going to my factories and I'm going to be doing very hard work, And so one of the things I did, I was like, I really need to shift this instead of I have to I get to. And so I've been telling myself what a privilege it is to have a factory. what a privilege it is to have had an invention that I'm bringing to market. Like, what a privilege it is to fly first class. You know, what a privilege, Ashley. You are getting to do this thing. And one of the things I did for myself to sort of take the, like, oh my God, how long am I gone? And, you know, that. So I did an open-ended ticket. And so now for me, it's like, I feel like, okay, I'm going to be in Asia. Maybe I can go see the pandas. You know, I don't have a deadline on these, you know, people who are making the products. We can just, you know, flow with the timeline, you know, and that's just something I'm thinking of recently that you know, if you start making those types of adjustments in your life, then everything becomes joyous. Everything becomes a privilege. When it's a privilege, it's gratitude. And that is what keeps us young. I know you feel the same way with me. I don't feel anywhere like I'm in golden years or last chapter of my life. I literally, when I hit 50, I was like, oh my God, like I'm not even halfway through. What now I have so much more knowledge. Like I just feel so excited about life, you know?
Yeah,
So
I feel like I think I'm going to live. I tell my son this all the time. It's like, I'm going to live to be at least 110.
oh, for sure.
I'm like, so, you know, I just feel it.
I do too.
You know, I see it. I just, you know, I can stay really healthy and not have, you know, stay in the high vibrations. So some of the other things that, you know, I mean, last night I witnessed an accident on PCH, and there were, you know, two just people getting into a car, and I thought, oh, it was very close.
Yeah.
And you just realize that, you know, so every day we have to put ourselves in a big bubble of protection and know how to do that and just, yeah, and really live. And I think another thing for women, it's very important to have like really good girlfriends.
Oh, amen.
Like your girlfriends, like to have people, community is a really, really big thing. Like find community. That's why I'm built out Joy Lift, because part of it is about community. I mean, we're online. We have an online community, but we also do in-person retreats, which we should talk about doing.
Yeah, I'm in. Let's do it.
For sure. And also, but what's happened is all the women talk to each other now on the app. And oh, when I'm in New York, they start seeing each other. And then they're in Miami and they see each other. And who's going to Nashville? Oh my God, maybe I'll meet you in Nashville. And before you know it, there's all these beautiful relationships that are happening. So, you know, it's really important to make an effort to have community and be around people that literally like make
that you feel
laugh.
So light when you're done. Anytime my girlfriends start talking to me about this guy or this thing or their family or whatever, and I'm like, look, if you feel lighter when you're done with the conversation, spend more time with that person. If you feel heavier, get a little distance there, you know, because
boundaries.
I tell you what, it's so interesting. Like I got fascinated, you know, 8, 9, 10 years ago with epigenetics, right? Like that we have, and being born with juvenile rheumatoid arthritis, I was always like, well, why did that express as a child? You know, and I just became really curious about that. But the new thing that's scientifically proven is that your sociogenetics, like who you are hanging around, literally can determine your gene expression.
For sure.
So I am very cognizant of that, and I seek out strong, vulnerable, positive women that make me feel light. And I can tell you, in my 50s, that is something that I have done that I never really did before. I think I was kind of that person that's like, I'm a mom, I'm building my empire, you know, stay back, you know. But it's so huge, it's so important. It's probably the greatest addition to my life in the past 10 years was getting a really strong group of girlfriends. And it's like you said, like I have my Nasara girls that we do all of our weird woo-woo stuff, you know, then I have my friends in Texas, I have my friends in LA, but like every woman in my life contributes to me so much when I spend time with them. Like I leave that going like, oh my gosh, I got a nugget of knowledge. You know, this is what I needed. Like sometimes to our married girls or our dating girls, you know, they want to go tell all of their stuff to a guy. And it's like, don't do that. Do that with your girls. Work that out so that you bring a loving, kind conversation to the man in your life.
I spoke to a guy on the phone. We got fixed up and we had a couple conversations, and because he wasn't in LA yet, and he was coming to LA anyway. But by the third conversation, I found myself, I had to keep on changing the subject away from his wife.
Oh,
his
no.
ex-wife. And then finally, at the end of the conversation, I changed it like 3 times. And then finally he's like, well, I think we have a good connection. I think we should really get together and meet. And I'm like, I don't think so. And he's like, what? And I said, I'm sorry, but I had to change the conversation 3 times for you to stop speaking negatively about your wife. Like, personally, I just want to be honest with you. I think you need to do a little therapy or get a relationship coach, because I don't want to start a relationship with somebody that's bringing that energy in.
That's right.
And he goes, okay, well, okay. And I thought,
I feel like that was a very loving approach.
It was very
to that.
loving.
Yeah.
It was very, definitely,
You were speaking your truth and being
I
authentic to you. That is going to change his life. Maybe not right in that moment, you know, because everybody has their initial reactions.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if in 5 years you get.
I mean, I got to believe he's not going to do that on another first date or first phone call. I have to believe that. But there are some women that like to trauma bond with people.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those women.
No, me neither.
I'm not trauma bonding. We're not going to get closer because I'm going to bitch about my ex-husband and you're going to bitch about your ex. And we have so much in common. Trauma bonding. Like, no, thank you. Trauma bond with somebody else and get that connection. I'm not your girl. So you have to know who you are and how you want to be. And then you have to show up that way, I mean, sometimes we have to I hate to say it, but sometimes we have to train men how to treat in a very kind way. We're not like, hey, I'm putting on your training wheels right now and training you, but you're just it makes me feel uncomfortable when you speak that way.
Yeah.
I
mean, my gosh, for our generation, it was just so we were definitely not speaking our truths. No. I know for me, when I moved to Costa Rica, I did all this work around the throat chakra and Ganesha and all this stuff. And it was very woo-woo-y, but it definitely helped me to step into my voice. And I think it's so beautiful because our conversation is about sort of health and beauty and youthing, but this is the stuff that doesn't usually get included in the conversation. And it's really the most important part.
It is the most important.
Yeah, because if you have all this popping, it's not hard to eat healthy. It's not hard to want food that's alive because that's just aligns with, everything else that you're doing and breathing. Well, before I keep looking at the, my battery telling me it's low and we're outside so we don't have a cord. But I want to make sure my audience hears a little bit about your project. And then I want to talk just briefly about Nexia because it's so funny. It's never about people are like, why did you do the fascia blaster? And it's it's never about oh, I invented it for cellulite. It's always about this bigger issue of helping humanity to raise higher consciousness. And what we do for our businesses is a piece of that, right?
Oh, for sure. I mean, honestly, if I didn't have this deep desire to impact women on this level, I wouldn't have started this business again. And so Joylift has really come out of...
It's Joylift?
Yeah, Joylift.
Okay. And can you Google it?
Yeah, joinjoylift.com. And it's built on 4 pillars. The first pillar is the movement, which basically some people may not know what somatic movement is. It's moving in a way to release the energy off your body, to release the trauma off your body. It's
okay. I think it keeps going. We may get pixelated or something.
We're not moving just to change our body. Most women move because I got to get thinner. I got to get fitter. I got to get rid of the cellulite. They're moving there. We don't move here. We're somatically moving. We move to move the lymph. So it's very, it's all about lymphatic drainage while we're moving. We move the spine in 6 different directions and in a wave to literally get all the fluid that goes up to the brain and to get every single organ. And by the way, you will sweat. You're definitely going to sweat while you're doing it. We use visualization. We use the
and experience the emotion of a future
future you,
event.
And you actually are moving and seeing yourself doing what that is.
I love that
you would be doing when you have that come into full manifestation. So that's the movement part. The second part is really education. It's things like this. I will bring on. I'm really kind of, even though we're doing this on Instagram, but I really have a pet peeve that women buy so many products, especially things that they ingest. I call it on Dr. Instagram and Dr. TikTok. Because at the end of the day, they don't know what they're really putting in their body. They don't know what the FDA is not.
Right. We can't depend on that for sure.
We can't depend on that. And half the time we're putting in stuff that's actually not really meant for us. You know, it's actually going to have a metabolic negative reaction. So for me, it's like to really have really amazing discussions and workshops and
to
master
drill
classes
down,
to really understand everything about menopause, everything we need mentally, emotionally, physically, energetically, bring on great doctors, bring on great practitioners so that they're really breaking it down, okay? So that's the education. The third part of it is women's circles, which we've talked about. I love women's circles. I'm for the masses, and not everyone can afford to go out and have a spiritual teacher.
Me and you are similar in that way, that like we want to democratize these things, because you know, when you do have money, you get exposed to these things, and then my first thought is like, everybody should
right,
exactly.
So people can't, you know, afford to have a spiritual teacher and a spiritual guide and this kind of stuff, you know, for $500 an hour. But it's like, if we do these with really amazing women that are certified, that are, you know, really have spent 10, some of them 15 years leading these, this isn't like, you know, and really be able to experience what it is to take off that mask, you know, to really be vulnerable, to connect to who you really are, not your societal self.
That's right.
Not your person like, you know, this is where I live. I'm a mom. Like we were talking circles. Sometimes it's like, let's not talk about being a mom, because for us, that's always our identity.
Yeah.
And that we have to sometimes shed these identities to really get down to who we are.
We are.
What our soul wants, what our spirit, how do I live spirit-full? Lavinia spirit-full, not just mama spirit-full, not just white
#spirit-full.
Spirit-full. Like, I want women to live spirit-full. And then the fourth pillar is we take it into women's retreats. We come into community, and that's really where I believe real transformation happens, when you're in community with other women.
Well, we will definitely do that with my community, and come to my community.
I would love to do that.
We'll make a commitment today, so stay tuned, and we'll let you know how that evolves. But I think, you know, you're describing what I love about you, and it makes sense that you were the co-founder of Equinox and all the stuff that you brought to that amazing brand. And you know, you are creating a digestible product, if you will, that is for every single female, and it's something that they can do, and you sort of just baby step them into how it should just be called how to live life. You know, because that's what you're really teaching, and that's the true you thing, that's the true joy, that's how to like squeeze everything you can out of life. That is such a beautiful formula. I didn't know the 4 pillars, but I'm into it now. I could say for me, you know, that's such a huge contribution to, you know, raising consciousness. And I really feel like the Fascia Blaster and the Nexia is the same thing. You know, my understanding of fascia is more about how it connects us to the universe as a, you know, it's the only quantum system in the body. I always say we may not know exactly what consciousness is, but I think we know where it lives now. I mean, I'll give you a real simple thing. When we're anesthetized, our fascia goes from being a honeycomb to being completely flat. It's like it's kind of dead when we're anesthetized, and also when we die, by the way. And it's like, okay, well, there's no other system of the body that's collapsing when we're anesthetized. So it's like, so we're unconscious when our fascia is dead, and we're conscious when it's in these beautiful sacred geometries and this honeycomb shape, you know. And I just, you know, now we know from a very scientific perspective that it's, you know, lined with liquid crystals and the 4th stage of water, which, you know, the people who study the quantum universe are really starting to understand that. And I'm just here to say, hey guys, we have that in our body. We have it in our body. So the same way that we address, you know, connecting with God consciousness, quantum field, to me, these are all the same things. We just give them different names, is through our fascia. You know, so for me, when I look at our very scientific ultrasounds where we see basically in a thigh, you see the fascia thickened, blocked, not organized, and then 90 days later, you see it look like these beautiful, threads. To me, it's like, well, this is how you, from a very rudimentary way, this is a way that you can open that vessel of communication.
Wow.
In a very tangible way. I mean, there's tons of health benefits to it as well. But for me, this is what I was just sharing with you before we started. And I was like, no, I'm going to say it there, is that, if you look at a spider, right? A spider can create a beautiful web. It's perfectly balanced. It's sparkly. You've seen that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So have you seen it when they put it on caffeine, or they put it on LSD, or they slash it? It's like the spider has to adjust. It still is creating its web, but it's doing it in a different way. So I believe that our fascia is our first, it's like the structure in which the cells are created from a zygote. When we look at zygote, people see the cells, but shift your eyes, look at what's around it. It's this, right? And then you see the cells populate within it. So what I think is maybe we didn't have trouble with our fascial web when 6 generations ago or something. But now that we've introduced caffeine, LSD, plastics, whatever we put in, right, I think that is why fascia is being grown. Just like a spider creates his web, we create our fascia at this very primordial level. And if we're creating it different, I'll just say, because of what, and so for me, if we can fix that, and we know it's not like fascia blasters or Nexia reaches this tissue and like actually brushes it out or anything like that. But it sets off the mechanism. We don't even know the mechanism. I was just at the huge fascial global congress speaking, and it's like nobody has any clue what really sets off this mechanism for us to be able to regenerate our fascia. But we do know that fascia blasters do. So I'm assuming that the Nexia is going to do it as well.
I can't wait to see that. Can we play with it a little?
You can play with it. I don't have any oil, but we can look at the Nexia. But at the end of the day, no one can tell me, just like what you were saying with lymphatics and getting our blood flowing and getting this tissue as good as possible. Like tangled, blocked, and thick is never going to be as good as thin and restructured and flowing.
Well, I know for me now, as I've gotten older, when I train my legs, I mean, it takes a while for me to recover.
Yeah.
And to the point where sometimes it's even painful.
Yeah.
But if I don't train that hard, my legs don't look good. So it's like I'm in a double-edged sword here. Like I want to train them hard, but I don't want to be in pain. And also what happens is everything gets tight. But stretching isn't enough. Like I can touch my
nose, girl, we can get into that.
No, I can touch it all the time. I can have it's not stretching.
That's right.
That's not what makes a difference for me. So I do think, from when I spoke to you about this 6 weeks ago, it's really been on my mind. Like, oh my God, I really got to use that. Especially the few days after I train, I'm like, my legs are brutal. Well,
I can tell you this, post-menopause, there's been lots of studies around, when we become estrogen deficient. And in fact, when this one big study came out, it was so fascia-based that I was like, okay, I'm going to take estrogen. Because I'm kind of like a don't take stuff.
Yeah.
But I've flipped my own script on that. What I will say is that when we are low in estrogen, like we are in waves of our cycle, as well as, in postmenopause and menopause, we actually lay down a different type of collagen. So that just means, in the most simple terms, it's we're growing our fascia thicker. So it becomes even more important for us youthing girls that are, 50s, 60s, 70s and beyond, that our fascia is good, because, it's like we're a salmon. We're going upstream against this thicker fascia being produced. Right,
I have to do this. Well, I have you here.
Yes, we're going to get a great demonstration.
You're going to show me how to do this.
But the thing that I will have to say this, I do love this about the Nexia versus the fascia blaster. Like, I don't have to tell anyone anything. You turn it on, you put on oil, and whatever feels good, you just go, and it works. And I also like that it's lazy, because I know for me, I'll use it for an hour you know, and it becomes deeply a part of the self-care. You were just talking about, you know, using visualization while you, you know, are doing movement.
Yeah.
I do the visualization and the kind of Joe Dispenza. In fact, I will literally listen to Joe Dispenza while I'm doing this in the sauna. So I'm like biostacking. But that soreness, and I get it, because like that's the biggest thing at my age, is that I just feel like I'm upstream with trying to put on muscle. I'm still trying to put on muscle. I'm lifting 4 to 5 days a week. And the same thing was happening with me. I was getting so damn sore. I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna have to find some obscure thing to lift because like my whole body's sore. But if you use the Nexia or the Fascia Blaster, I can't say, I don't know how effective it would be without the sauna, because I always do it in the sauna. But blasting in the sauna after that workout, the soreness is literally gone, Gone, gone. So I think this is going to definitely be a huge, you know, recovery tool. I know the surfers down in Costa Rica are freaking out about it. So yeah, we'll do it with some oil. I'll film it separate since my phone is dying, but we can throw in some B-roll of Lavinia's first.
Not that I want to show my legs to the world, but
I'll show mine. I don't care. Oh my gosh, I've been in a bathing suit with 10 million people watching as I like scrub around my fat, so it's all good. That's the confidence. But do you have? We're on about 5%. So any last thoughts?
Well,
I hope you guys enjoyed this.
And I would just love for your community we can work something, get a free 2 weeks or something.
Yeah.
Joy Lift, like we would love that. So we can
That'd be
put more
amazing.
information on.
Yeah, I haven't thought about that, but for sure we can give
Yeah.
like a discount to your audience for the Nexia or the Fascia Blaster
Yeah, I'd
tools.
love to do that.
But I just, the thought I would love to leave you guys with is just that, you know, like we were saying, I have surrounded myself with successful, joyous, high vibrational women, and it's really life changing. So I'm so honored that you invited me to your home. Yeah. I know we're going to be friends for a long time, and I'm
going to go visit her in Costa Rica. I've never been.
I cannot believe that. You're too woo-woo to have never been to Costa Rica.
I can't believe it. I think I was meant to come.
I think so too.
With you.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's absolutely do it. That's how it works. It's timing and flow, ladies. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and we'll definitely have Lavinia on again. You know, maybe we could even do something where you can take the audience through the movement. I know I'm so into that. I have definitely over the past 12 years really started doing embodiment practices, the breath work. Again, twerking is like, it sounds funny, but it's like really, really helpful, you know. So I would love to. I know yours is probably like a more polished, more scientific thing than just rump shaking.
I like a good twerk.
Well, ladies, we will see you all again very, very soon.